Good day, grade 7 learners, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video lesson, ay nakikita nyo meron tayong diagram at i-discuss natin one by one yung under ng real numbers. What are those other numbers na kailangan maging familiar tayo? Okay, so it is the family tree of real numbers. Ayan. And then, i-define natin siya one by one and then magbibigay ako ng example. So, i-flash ko din sa screen kung ano yung definition. So, real numbers is divided into two. So, it is mainly divided into two, which are the rational numbers and irrational numbers. So, what is the difference between rational numbers and irrational numbers? So, when we say irrational numbers, so these are the set of rational numbers of all the numbers which can be expressed in the form of A over B. Again, it can be expressed in the form of A over B, where A and B are integers and B should not be equal to 0. Again, B should not be equal to 0 because when our B is 0, it will become undefined. So, magbigay tayo ng example ng rational numbers. So, example, negative 19, negative 2/3, 3 pips, 8. So, these are the examples of rational numbers, wherein it is in the form of A over B. Yan. So, wherein our B is not equal to 0. So, negative 19, so wherein ang ating B ay positive 1. So, it is understood na kapag whole number ito, and then ang kanyang denominator ay 1. So, negative 2/3, and then 3 pips, and we have here 8. So again, when we say rational numbers, it can be expressed in the form of A over B, wherein B should not be equal to 0. So while, on the other hand, we have here irrational numbers. When we say irrational numbers, it is this, the set of irrational numbers is the set of numbers whose decimal representation are neither terminating nor repeating. Again, neither terminating nor repeating. These numbers cannot be expressed as a quotient of integers. Again, it cannot be expressed as a quotient of integers. Example, we have negative square root of 2. We have here square root of 3, and we have here 5. So, these are examples of rational numbers wherein yung negative square root of 2 in decimal form, that is negative 1.414 and so on. While square root of 3 is equal to 1.73205 and so on. While the value of pi, we all know that is 3.1416 and so on. Ayan. So again, so these numbers cannot be expressed as a quotient of integers, and that is irrational numbers. So, ganun nagkakaiba yung rational numbers at irrational numbers. Then, under ng rational numbers, we have here integer and a fraction. Again, we have here integer and a fraction. So, when we say integers, formed by combining the negative integers, opposite of counting numbers, and the set of whole numbers. Again, pag sinabi nating integers, combining the negative integers and the opposite of counting numbers. Wherein, so we have here negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So these are integers. So another example, we have here negative 19, negative 8, 1, 4, 6. So these are integers. It can also be square root of 49, which give us 7. Yeah. So these are the examples of integers. While fraction, so when we say fraction, a fraction is a number that represents part of the whole. So this is written in the form of P over Q, wherein P is the numerator and then Q is the denominator, and it should not be equal to 0. Example ng fraction, 1/2, 3/4, 2/7. It can also be negative 2 pips, negative 1/3. Yan. So, ito yung ibig sabihin ng fraction. Wherein, sa representation ng 1/2, isang buo, hahatiin mo sa gitna, and then, kuha ka ng isang part nun. So, that is 1/2. So, that is a fraction. And then, yung ating integer is divided into 2. We have the negative and the whole numbers. So, we all know that negative, ito yung below 0. So, that is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So, mas closer sa 0, mas malaki yung value. Okay? And then, we have here the whole numbers. So, when we say whole numbers are formed by adding 0 to the set of natural numbers. For example, you have here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So these are whole numbers. What else? For example, we have here 0, 2, 4, 9, 16, and so on. So these are whole numbers. So square root of 9. That gives us a whole number. Okay, so that is a whole numbers. And then whole numbers is also divided into 2, the 0 and the counting or natural numbers. So alam na natin yung 0, that is at the center of the number line. So therefore, meron kang 0, then, sa left side mo, you have the negative numbers, and then sa right side mo, you have the positive numbers or the positive integers. And then, when we say counting or natural numbers, are numbers used for counting. So, ano ba yung mga numbers used for counting? So, we have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So, ito yung tinatawag nating counting or natural numbers. So, hindi included dito yung 0. So, I hope that you learned something today regarding the real numbers at ano yung difference between the rational numbers and irrational numbers at ano pa yung mga under. Don't forget to like and share this video and see you on my next video lesson.